I'm here with Brett, um, doing a Tech 120 interview, trying to find out, talk about air, how the air is not clean. We're going to ask him a few questions. He is a student athlete at Indiana State. Do you know that clean air is a problem?
Knew we've had a global problem of pollution around the world, but never really came to me that it was that big a problem like around me and more like locally than when I looked at the statistics of the the air, like how clean the air is around us.
Yeah, it's easy to think about. It probably happens in third world countries, but even in our society locally, it can cause like anything from lung cancer to heart disease. You bring an interesting perspective. As an athlete, do you think it is important to breathe in clean air?
Well, I feel like it's very important for every athlete to breathe in clean air. Um, Logically, it seems that if you're breathing in clean air, it's gonna help me perform better, while bad air is just gonna decrease my performance in running. And with running, oxygen is like the most important thing, obviously. Having bad air can really only hurt my performance.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was going to go to next, is asking about your performance. But I guess I'll just straight skip to do you think it would also, breathing in air like that, affect your health? Obviously, you kind of talked about how it affected in sports, but like outside of sports, maybe even just at home.
I think it could affect me in both ways, but for the short term aspect of it, I really don't see it affecting me that bad. But for long term, I think it can hurt me, and I feel like you could run into problems long term with
Mm-hmm.
diseases and stuff that could possibly come up from that you would have never known at the time.
Yeah. As a student, because you bring that perspective as well, at Indiana State, do you see pushes for air filtration in school buildings?
Um, I never knew like that we had that much bad air around, and also don't see or know if they're doing much to push these filtration systems. But in my opinion, I feel like it would be a good idea for them to start pushing that idea for these systems. And I know that these air filtration systems that are used in hospitals are a lot better, and obviously because the patients are sick and they need cleaner air, and I feel like having those be put in would be a good idea, just because there's a lot of sicknesses and diseases that go around colleges. So I feel like that would be a good idea to start pushing those systems.
Yeah, I think that it's very key that we have it in the hospital setting, but yes, it would probably be expensive to replicate that in like a other commercial buildings and a lot of public places. But I do think it's important. That's kind of where I was going to next. You kind of brought up the money issue. If you did have the money, would would you fix this problem? Is it important to you? And how would you fix it if you?
Well, going back to the hospital idea, I feel like these systems are used in hospitals, so why not make it where you could make it applicable to be able to put it in your cars, your homes, and more of your everyday life where people can have cleaner air around them. I mean, obviously, they haven't made a idea for outside or obviously yet, but I feel like technology would be a big factor in that come here in the future. But for right now, I would just say that I feel like putting these systems into your everyday life would make it better for you to decrease chances of getting a disease or in the future, something like that.
All right. Thank you, Brett.